Hello, hello. Welcome back to the Football Terrace. Good morning to each and every single one of you. The Premier League continues its project restart today. Man United travel down to London to play Tottenham in, I actually think it's the most eagerly anticipated game of the opening returning fixtures, even more so than City Arsenal and, of course, the big Merseyside derby at the weekend. It's because of the Bruno Pogba situation. The world of football is talking about it. However, it has been leaked. It was leaked yesterday evening that you see the team to my right here is supposedly going to be the team that starts. This was sent through to me about midnight last night. So De Gea in goal, Lindelof, Maguire, and Shaw making up a back three with Williams, Wan-Bissaka, Fred, and McTominay and Bruno making up you can call it a midfield five, you can call it a back five. It will be both, depending on the transitions and times of the game. And then looking at Martial and Rashford playing as a split front three. And I want your views and opinions on that. There's a lot of heat already on Ollie. There's a lot of heat already on Ollie to ensure that he's playing Pogba. We want him back in the team. If he's fit, he has to start. And by the way, there are contrary reports to this, and we're going to go through them to apply balance this morning because there are other reports suggesting that he is coming back, right down to Instagram posts saying Pog back. Does that mean he's in the starting lineup? But this has been leaked. Also, the United report on Twitter have tweeted out saying Pogba is set to be on the bench against Tottenham, with Solskjaer taking a careful approach on getting him back to full match fitness. He wants to ease Pogba in. And what I will say from the beginning of this, for me, it doesn't matter what your thoughts and feelings are on Ollie. When Ollie rushed him back in December, we criticised him. When Ollie rushed him back in December, we bemoaned his PE teacher mentality, doesn't understand football at the highest level. We condemned. That same logic, if you're a true and consistent person with no agenda, you have to remain true to that now. And so, well, Ollie's got to ease him back. I know a lot of people will say, well, he's been fit. He's only actually been fit to train full time for about 4 or 5 weeks. He hasn't kicked a ball competitively since December. And he's barely played all year. So maybe, just maybe, the sports scientist has said you've got to ease Paul Pogba in. I think we need to try and be just a little mindful of that, in my view. Just a little bit mindful of that. But also, the Telegraph is reporting today. And before we go into that, do me a favor, hit the like button. Please hit the share button as well. 2 of the best ways of supporting this platform. It truly, truly is. The Telegraph is reporting today that Ollie has challenged Paul Pogba to show the same leadership that inspired France to World Cup glory. He's even reportedly targeting a top 3 position this season using Paul Pogba. Maybe that means he's going to start. But also it might mean I need you to be a leader even from the bench for the first couple of games back until you find your feet and until you're ready. And you know what? This is what I'm going to say to Pogba's fans that might be angry about him being dropped. I want him in the team. But this is what I'm going to say to people that might be angry about this news. Paul Pogba isn't this virus that everybody makes him out to be. And if he's being eased back in and he remains professional, it demonstrates, 1, that he is fully behind Ollie, and 2, that is what should be used as your pièce de resistance to say Pogba is not a virus. Pogba is a great guy. Pogba is a team player. He's professional. Because look, he's being eased back into this team. There's no animosity. There's no anger. There's no misbehavior. Because I'll use an East London expression. He is proper, mate. He is proper, mate. And I think that's something that we need to not neglect at this moment in time. I really, really do believe that. I'm going to delve into some of your comments now. We're going to show you some of the news articles surrounding this. Of course, Man United Tottenham will be live from around 6:30 this evening with team news build-ups. We'll be taking your phone calls. Remember, no other watch-alongs do that. We'll be taking your phone calls, getting you on the air right through to the game, and then digital fan cams afterwards again. If you want to get involved, send me a DM on Twitter. Tonight, we're going to have B-Man on, JV, Flawless, Aaron. We're going to have Devil in the Details. We'll have, of course, KJ on. We're going to have an illustrious lineup of Man United fans doing reactions. Of course, Elite Opinions will be back. But if you're a Spurs or an Arsenal fan and you want to come and get involved this evening, send us a direct message on Twitter or Insta at Terry Flewers. Really, really simple. Let's delve into some of these comments here from you all. Paul, this is from Mohammed, who says, Paul Pogba on the bench against Tottenham Hotspur. Lord Zola says, Pogba needs to earn the right to play. Of course, he is good enough, but it sends the wrong signals to the other teammates if he gets put back in straight away. And I think that's a really good, valid, honest point. A great, honest, valid point. Because we have this sort of situation sometimes where we don't like to. We always talk. A lot of Man United fans talk about getting into a team in merit, getting into the side due to merit, form, how well you're playing. How dare we keep playing Lingard when he's playing so badly? People lose that energy when that logic damages their favorite player, which is why there's too many hypocrites out there. And that's what we're here to do at the Football Terrace, is call out the hypocrisy. So you make a really good point there. By the way, if Pogba does go back into the first team, I'm not going to cry about it, because he may have been tearing it up in training. And Ollie feels like, well, Ollie might think the form in March is now irrelevant because there's been a 102-day gap. But his logic might also be what you have said there, Lord Zola. And that, in my opinion, needs to be respected. Man like Mo, bro, you got to send me a DM. I need a fan cam from you tonight, my friend. He said, if Pogba gets injured again while starting, Ranson Saeed will get on Ollie. Well, listen, but they will, because they don't like him. And they're entitled to their opinion. But that's the point I'm making. If he comes back if Pogba does what Mari did for Arsenal in the opening 5 minutes and rips something, that ankle goes again within 5 minutes, the Ollie out brigade will go mad. But remember, the same Ollie out brigade will go mad if he doesn't start. But that tells you, and I'm not talking about Rance and Said specifically, but those Twitter trolls have zero credibility on this subject matter. Ignore them. If you are stupid enough to be suckered into that BS, that is on you. If you are that stupid to buy into, half of these people are Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool fans posing. They're like parody accounts pretending to be Man United fans. Do not be suckered into that nonsense. Well said, man like Mo. Why is it always Pogba in the media? Because he's the best midfielder in the world, bro. It's as simple as that. But this is the point. It's okay in being in the media if Man United fans don't act like sheep. If Man United fans go, do you know what? If he doesn't start, he's coming on from the bench. Within 2 or 3 games, he'll be starting. You know, I've said before, the team, and we're not going to know now. We're not going to know straight away. But the team that starts the season properly, or no, let me rephrase that. In Project Restart, some teams are going to go out hell for leather from game one. Some teams are going to take a slowly, softly approach. Let's see by the end of it whose approach paid the most dividends. Because some of the teams that go out and try and play their best teams from day one, try and play football at 1,000,000 miles an hour from the first kickoff, maybe they'll hurt themselves. Now, I saw City the other night. It took about half an hour to warm up, and they still never went full pelt at Arsenal. Maybe that's their view. Well, we need to taper ourselves ready for the Champions League, because that's what they're really playing for now, as opposed to going all out for the EPL. Man United, if we go out tonight all guns blazing and pick up 2 or 3 major injuries, but yet some of our rivals for the top 4, as I say, take a slow approach and they ease themselves in, maybe drop a few early points. Maybe they'll find themselves in a better situation over the next 6 to 7 weeks. We need to be mindful. We need to be absolutely mindful when it comes to this. We really, really do. But we're going to delve into some of these headlines now, and we're going to see what's being said across the board. So here is the message and sort of the tweets that we saw last night, the league starting lineup apparently, and then the United report, as we mentioned, talking about Ollie taking a softly approach in relation to easing Paul Pogba back into the Manchester United squad. And again, I'm just not against that as a policy from Ollie. I think there's such an air of sense about that. There really, really is. What we then have is the article I mentioned in the Telegraph, where they speak about Ollie gearing the situation up and asking Paul Pogba to be that leader, to be that central figure at Man United, to be the guy that helps push us back in towards those Champions League spots. But then, as I said, there's other stories out there. Paul Pogba's Instagram post of Pogback, and I think this is really telling. You know, there was times during his injury where people, he's not posting anything to do with Man United. He's not involved in Man United. Is he really dedicated? And then that Insta post goes out last night. And then there's 2 comments here. The first one at the bottom by United Robbo. He's just quoting Ollie. He says, if he's in your squad, you build a team around him. The Man United manager will likely have zero issues with bringing Paul Pogba straight back into the team, especially against Spurs. And that's the other train of thought. Pogba may start. And if Pogba, but the point is, if you're angry that Pogba may be not starting, if he does start and something goes wrong from an injury point of view, slow your brain down. For me, you can't have those two thoughts at the same time. Because if he is being eased back in, we've got to understand that Ollie's maybe protecting him. Keep the same energy. You've got Che United here, and he put this thought in my head. So this isn't my thought and feeling. It says here, the last time Ollie rushed Pogba back, he got injured again, and people were mad at him. Now they want him to. Now he wants to ease him back in, and people are mad at him. He says he can't catch a break, and that's very, very important to remember that. And I think it's very, very important, as I say, to remain consistent in these situations. I really do. Let's look at some more of these comments here. Terry, if United went sideways and Ollie got sacked or something, what manager you would listen, Nagelsmann's the guy for me. I've been chatting about him for many, many months. Before he became popular on football Twitter, I was talking about that guy. I like the way he plays football. He's young. He's kind of, I wouldn't say he's Fergie-esque. I think he's like a modern day Arsene Wenger. I just hope that he has a more sustained and longer winning mentality. Comment, if Fred doesn't start, then United won't be able to counter. Fred will be starting, in my opinion. I cannot imagine a world or a game where Fred isn't going to start for Man United. I can't see it. I don't believe it. Like, genuinely, it makes no sense to me to think Fred wouldn't start. Fred has been one of the best holding DM type center. I know, like, box to box. Yeah, he has been. But the DM side of his game has been where he's been most potent. The breaking up of play, the recoveries of the balls, the tackles that he's won, and then setting the counterattacks off. He can do that. And what'd be nice if Pogba is playing with Bruno, he can do that and not have to worry about getting involved in the attacks, which is not his strong point. And I think we've got a player that trusts. I've just got this little feeling, right? Let me put a little prediction. Fred is going to be so good in that holding stroke DM role between now and the end of the season. A lot of United fans will change their minds about wanting to drop 50, 60, 70 million on the Thomas Parteys and the Ndidis of this world. He is every bit, in my opinion, as good. And he's finding his feet. And he'll stand out even more when that becomes his sole focus. I'll give you an example. When Ander Herrera was dropped deeper and his job was just to break up play, he was really quite good at it. His distribution wasn't as good as Fred, but he's really quite good at it. And I quite enjoyed him doing that for a sort of 18 months or so. And I think that's what we need from Fred, a destroyer. Win the ball back, recover the ball, track back, shield the back four at times. Yes, he'll get involved in play. And yes, he'll get involved up the other end of the pitch in moments. But I see Fred becoming that player that we so sorely need. Pav here says, are you excited? Mate, Pav, I am buzzing about tonight's game, bruv. I am buzzing about tonight's game. It's huge. It's beyond huge. It's the return of the Premier League. We watched the games the other night, but look, I'm reserved as well because, yeah, I've been bigging up this Pogba Bruno thing. I've been bigging up this return. But if you remember what I actually said, I'm giving this 2 or 3 games for it to settle because it's going to be the return. But yeah, I'm excited. I think we've got Spurs tonight. I think Man United have got Spurs tonight. I think they're going to have them tonight. I really, really do. 5 at the back works against Jose. Well, this is what I love about this formation. This is what I love about this leaked formation of Man United's. People will call it 5 at the back, but it's only 5 at the back when you're defending. When you're attacking, it's 3 at the back, which sounds more expansive. Don't get bogged down with starting positions in relation to formation. The same as you shouldn't, someone last night, someone gave me a stick in the comment last night saying, you keep saying that Bruno plays on the right. Bruno's an attacking player and he spreads across the attacking line. You're talking rubbish as usual. I'm like, well, no, you can tell a position, there's your starting position and then there's the positions you take up during a game where you drift into. Bruno Fernandes touches the ball and plays the ball the majority of time in the right-hand pocket. On this screen, it'll be from where Fred's head is and around that area. That's where Bruno touches and plays the ball more often than not in games. And you know that by looking in his career, because you can look at his entire career heat maps that calculate every touch and every play he's made. And that's the deepest red highlighted area. Of course, he drifts across to the left. That doesn't mean he's a right-hand sided attacker. It means he plays right of center in relation to that. So players, he's a number 10, but he drifts to the right more than he drifts over. So then what you need to do in the team, in the lineup, is you need a player that's going to drift more to the left. And, we speak about Timo Werner. He starts centrally, but he likes to drift across to the left. Now, how you mitigate that, and this is down to Lampard, is, well, do we play him with Tammy and we play Timo as more of a 10 and we allow him to drift? But if he does drift, you are going to need either a central midfield player or you are going to need Pulisic or somebody, or it could be the right-hand side of the attacker, Ziyech, dropping into that 10 role and then a fullback filling in. It might be Reece James. That's all that happens. It becomes, have you ever watched an army movie where someone needs to run across and save someone and you have to cover them? It's about covering your team. But it's knowing where it's about knowing where Bruno's going to drift and then who fills the hole that he drifted into. Or if he drifts into an area that, say, Dan James is occupying on the right-hand side, it might be for Dan James to come in more centrally. This makes it very difficult to man-mark people. But in terms of being 5 at the back, again, a lot of negative people don't like the 3-5-2. Man United have been very successful away from home against good teams playing 3-5-2. So I wouldn't be averse to this formation. The only difference I would make is I wouldn't start McTominay. I would start Paul Pogba. Of course, if Paul Pogba is indeed fit enough, because that's the most important bit. That's the most important bit for me. It really, really is. Chapstick here says, I reckon it will be a draw or Spurs will win with Kane back and Son will probably start. Of course, they're a threat. I'm not sleeping on Tottenham. Tottenham are a serious team. They've got serious players. They really, really do. And look, I'll take a draw. I would take a draw away at Tottenham right now. Let's not start getting ahead of ourselves. They're on bad form. If this would have been 3 months ago, I would have demanded a win no matter what, because Spurs were awful. But we have no idea how good they're going to be coming back. So I think we need to understand that in normal circumstances, we'd take a draw away at Tottenham in relation to this situation, in relation to the current squad and team that Spurs have. That's my view. Pinch here says the only issue with 5 at the back is we don't have the attacking qualities at fullback. Yeah, I understand. Well, I think Williams is okay. And I think Aaron Wan-Bissaka, again, was getting better. If you look at, I haven't looked at the statistical breakdown in enough detail, but if you look at what he was doing sort of January through till March, level of creativity almost doubled in that period compared to the previous 3 to 4 months. He was heavily involved in a lot of the attack. So he was getting better. And let's see what's happened. He's had a hell of a lot of time to, I'm sure AWB has been working in his back garden, in local parks, working on all types of different training methods. They've clearly been staying with family, getting family and friends to help, working on his game. And let's see what happens. But I do get your point there. But remember, it's not 5 at the back. It really isn't 5 at the back. It's 3 at the back. Even you got to remember, a 4-3-3 becomes a 4-2-3-1. A 4-3-3 can become literally, you can be defending and a really attacking side, and a 4-3-3 that everybody wants can suddenly become 6 at the back. It literally happens. So people get too bogged down. Oh, look how defend. All teams that play 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2, and that's what's mad about this formation. I've seen people describe this as 3-4-1-2. I've seen it described as 5-3-2. I've seen it described as 3-5-2. What was the other one I've seen it as? I've seen it also as 5-2-1-2. Literally, everyone's got a different view on it. It don't really matter. It almost becomes irrelevant. It's 3-4-3. Yeah, some will say 3-4-3 as well. ENT, you're right, bro. Some will call it that. It really depends on your outlook on it. But Man United play a fluid style of football. So you will see in this formation, Bruno drift left and Bruno drift right. You'll see Pogba and Fred get up and down at different times. You'll see Martial and Rashford not only switch sides, but they drag out to the fullback positions. That will require the Brunos and the McTominays to drive forward into central roles, which is why I would prefer Pogba, because I'm quite happy for these boys to drift out into these positions. Then what I want is Pogba and Bruno finding themselves in the box, almost Lampard-esque, if that makes sense. We have a super chat here from one of our regular viewers and members, Josh, who says, I predict a draw, but I still doubt a top 4 finish. I don't want to look at another team's results to mathematically make Champions League. If we don't make the top 4, it reflects on our season. Hope we win. I get where you're coming from. For me, I have a slightly different train of thought. to yourself on that. I don't really care how we make the top 4. I just want to make top 4. If we finish 5th and City's ban ends up happening, great. You're not going to find me crying over it spilt milk in that way. It's done. We're in the Champions League. That is legitimately all I care about, bro. It's all I care about when it comes to this. But listen, everyone who's tuned in this morning, thank you very, very much as always. We'll be back later on this afternoon with more build up to this game, more team news as well. But it's hotting up. Man United, I know a lot of rivals don't like hearing this, but we're the biggest ticket in town. We're the biggest ticket in town. And from my point of view, I'm exceedingly excited about this game this evening. I hope Ollie and the boys can do it. And I mean, no disrespect to our Spurs viewers that tune in. I'm as unbiased as I can be, but when it comes to match day, always 110% behind my boys. But remember, maintain the energy. Maintain the energy when it comes to you either wanting Pogba in or you don't want Pogba rush back. You can't have those two trains of thought. Get behind Ollie this evening. Drop your agenda. If you want Man United to succeed, your agendas must drop. If you want us to fail, continue to have an agenda. Continue to be negative. Continue to feed into the media narrative that continues to be, a foot on our neck. We need you to back people here. And yes, Ollie's style is called fluid football. It's a genuine style. It's about movement. It's about occupying spaces that your starting position doesn't necessarily dictate and making it exceedingly difficult for your opponents to pick you up and mark. We were doing this all season. The problem was we didn't have the players with the quality in ball possession to retain the ball and to create the opportunities. We now have that in Bruno. And of course, with the wonderful, the majestic, the magician, the man, the phenom that is Paul Pogba being back. Rashford back in the team playing with Anthony Martial. Their connection is excellent. But until next time, take care of yourselves, everybody. God bless. Hit that like and share button right now, please. And we'll see you all again very, very soon. The Premier League is back. The football terrace is going to new levels. And we want you to subscribe right now to make sure you don't miss out. In the opening week, City, Arsenal, Tottenham, Man United, and the Merseyside derby will be covered with watch-alongs here at the football terrace and on hot mics. So ensure you don't miss a thing. Love was changing the minds of pretenders while chasing the clouds away. Our hearts were ringing in the key that our souls were singing as we danced in the night. Remember how the stars stole the night away. The Premier League is back. We're back. We can't wait.